This is Swami Mahamedhananda from Ramakrishna Math, Chennai, and this is our weekly Sunday Vivekananda Study Circle class. The topic for today is Manage Your Life Energy. I'm going to share some thoughts with you about this. Let's see how it will go. I'll begin with the Vedic prayer, Sahana Bhavatu, probably the oldest prayer known to mankind. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. The meaning of this prayer, which has been chanted in this land for thousands of years, whenever a teacher and his students would gather, whenever scholars would gather to exchange knowledge, the meaning is this: May Brahman, the one divine self in all, protect us both, the student and the teacher. May Brahman nourish us both. May we both acquire energy through this education. May we both become illumined as a result of this education. And for all this to happen, may we not hate each other. There is a significance here which I will relate when we discuss the points in this topic. The Rishis of this Sanatana Dharma discovered that the ultimate reality within the universe and within man is Chit-shakti, infinite energy of pure consciousness. Chit-shakti. They called it as also Para Prakriti, supreme nature, Adya Shakti, primordial energy, and as simply Devi, divine mother. The Devi Mahatmyam, it sings, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. That divine mother who is present in all beings as Shakti, as power or energy, I salute her, I salute her, I salute her again and again. This Shakti or energy, which is latent in man, is present in many forms. And a great purpose of education is to discover these forms of energy and learn how to utilize them in the most fruitful manner, in a way which is good for me and good for the world. Vedanta tells us that these forms of energy lie in deeper and deeper layers. The more deeper or inner the layer, the subtler and more immense is the energy source. We have energy in us, Chit-shakti, that is latent in me, and this energy is present in different layers, and as we go deeper into the layer, it is more subtler and more powerful, more immense. Now, what are these energy sources or resources? Almost all the points I'll be presenting now I have taken from the talks of Swami Ranganathananda ji, the 13th president of the Ramakrishna order. Maharaj has a number of ideas. I have culled some of them. I'll be presenting it today. The first energy resource is the muscular energy, the energy which is there in my arms, in my body, in the muscles of my body. It is the gross form of energy. That is the first energy available to me in my everyday life. The energy of the muscles. Little deeper, subtler than this muscular energy, is the next energy resource, which is the nervous system. This is subtler than the muscular energy because a tiny nerve behind the muscle is the source of the muscle's energy. If that nerve is cut, the muscle is dead. It will just wither away. So the energy behind the muscle is the nervous energy. So that nervous energy is one level of energy which I can tap, which I tap and use, either positively or negatively. In any manner, I am tapping this nervous energy. Now, behind this nervous energy is the third energy resource. It is called the psychic energy, subtler than the nervous energy. It is, in other words, called also mind. It is intangible. Muscles and nerves, I can see, I can touch, they're gross. But the moment I go behind, little inner than that, there is this energy called the psychic energy. I cannot touch it, but I can experience it. This is the source of the energy behind the nervous system. Nervous system's energy comes from the mind. And if this mind becomes sick or if it fails, then both the nervous energy and the muscular energy go waste. We cannot use them and slowly they will be decayed. We have seen this when people lose their mental balance, they don't have that strength either in the nervous system or in the muscular system. So subtler than the muscular and nervous energy is this psychic energy. Third level of energy which I can use. Now the deepest and the final source of energy is what is called the Atman, Atma Shakti. It is the source of the mental energy. And it energizes the mind, and through the mind, the nerves and the muscles. And it is an infinite source of energy. So the Upanishadic Rishis, they have given us this. There is the body, there is the nervous system, there is the mind with its psychic powers, and behind all is that infinite Chit-shakti, pure consciousness. I am an aspect of that. I am a spark of that. I am that. Tat Tvam Asi. The Guru teaches the disciple. The what you are seeking is inside you. So seek that truth inside. Now these are the four layers of energy available to a human being. One thing we should note, the quantity of energy that is manifested depends on the quality or nature of energy source tapped. What do we mean? The muscular energy which you manifest, it has a limitation. You cannot go on doing bodybuilding for 10 hours. You cannot run for 10 hours. Even 8 hours is difficult. But you go a little inside, you can use that energy called the mind, psychic energy, and you can study for 10 hours. Many students do that. So the energy, as it is deeper, as it goes deeper, it becomes more powerful. And also, we find it takes less effort. If you want to expend physical, muscle and nervous energy for 5 hours, imagine how much food you have to eat and how good that nutrition must be. A lot of input, less output. As it becomes subtle, input is less, output is more powerful, more strong. If you eat a lot, nothing much will come out of your mind. There will be only dullness. In fact, all human beings are same in terms of the body and these energies available to them, and in their true nature as the Atman, all human beings are same. But what energy resource they use and how they use, for what purpose they use, that makes all the difference between man and man. Ranganathananji writes, the dullness of the dullard and the brilliance of the bright are only differences in expression, proceeding from the differences in the tapped energy sources. If I concentrate only on my body, it is not just bodybuilding. Anyone who is overoccupied, preoccupied with his or her body, and also expending a lot of time and energy in decorating or strengthening it, he is leading a life which can be called more like an animal life. Common people function using these gross muscular and nervous energies. And even when they use their mental energies, they do so without any knowledge of what it is and how it can be used for their own good and the good of others. It is a hit or miss. Sometimes they succeed in something, sometimes they fail. As I said, this is how an animal level of existence is understood. These people tap only the gross forms of energy. And when they tap mental energy, it is not with intelligence. And it sometimes harms them. Next level, we have people who concentrate and tap their mental energy. They maintain their body, muscles, and nervous system. They maintain it through healthy food, healthy exercise, right style of living. But their focus is not on the body. Their focus is on tapping the mental energies. And they learn how to manipulate it to achieve their purpose in life, both external and internal purpose. Remember, we discussed this in the last class. And they will achieve excellence in their work by tapping this mental energy. A few people, they are called the spiritual aspirants. They seek and they discover and they function from the energy of the Atman. The Kena Upanishad, one of the fundamental main Upanishads, it says, Atmana vindate viryam. By the knowledge of the Atman, man gets infinite energy. He may not look like a bodybuilder, very strong physique. He may not also probably manifest brilliance of intellect, but in whatever he thinks and whatever he says, speaks, and whatever actions he performs, he is transforming the world because he is able to touch the deepest core of the other person. He is functioning from the deepest core. He is tapping his innermost energies. And because he is able to connect to his own innermost energy, he is able to touch the energy level at the same level in the other person. How and why? As we know, you and I are one. Swamiji says, if you learn how to control your mind, you can control any other mind because all minds are finally one. Now, understanding how these energy resources function and then functioning from the deepest energy source is the way to build a perfect personality, is the way to become a yogi. It doesn't mean one who renounces the world is a yogi. Everyone should have this ideal. I have to be a yogi. I'll be a householder, but I'll be a yogi. Yogi doesn't mean only celibacy. Yogi doesn't mean a renouncer. Yogi is one who is a master of his life. He has learned how to control the energies within him. In modern society, we have progressed so much. We have learned how to tap and utilize the energies in the world outside. And we have created hell for ourselves from that also. Why? Because we didn't simultaneously try to discover the energies within us and we didn't try to sublimate the functioning of those energies. We have an atom bomb and now we have any number of other technologies where we have tapped the natural energy and harming nature and harming ourselves. That is the outcome. But if we have this ideal of a yogi, I will tap the energy outside. I will tap the deepest possible levels of energy within me. Then I will function. I will manifest my life. That will be harmony within, harmony without. Now I will quote Swami Vivekananda. I will be quoting extensively from Swamiji today. Swamiji writes, the science of yoga claims that it has discovered the laws which develop this personality, and by proper attention to those laws and methods, each one can grow and strengthen his personality. This is one of the great practical things, and this is the secret of all education. This has a universal application in the life of the householder, in the life of the poor, the rich, the man of business, the spiritual man. In everyone's life, it is a great thing, the strengthening of this personality. There are laws, very fine, which are behind the physical laws, as we know. Whatever is one. Let us say it is a sort of tapering existence. The thickest part is here, and it tapers, that is outside the body, and it tapers and becomes finer and finer. The finest is what we call spirit, the grossest, the body. These are the dimensions of human personality, which we have discussed from Taittiriya Upanishad, the Panchakosha idea, and how the human personality is understood by the Upanishads, Rishis. Now I'll again continue quoting Swamiji. The world is one of influence. Part of our energy is used up in the preservation of our bodies. Beyond that, every particle of our energy is day and night being used in influencing others. Our bodies, our virtues, our intellect, and our spirituality. All these are continuously influencing others. And so conversely, we are being influenced by them. This is going on all around us. Now, to take a concrete example, a man comes, you know he is very learned, his language is beautiful, and he speaks to you by the hour. But he does not make any impression. Another man comes, and he speaks a few words, not well arranged, ungrammatical perhaps. All the same, he makes an immense impression. Many of you have seen that. So it is evident that words alone cannot always produce an impression. Words, even thoughts, contribute only 1/3 of the influence in making an impression. Words, even thoughts, contribute only 1/3 of the influence in making an impression. The man, 2/3. What you call the personal magnetism of the man, that is what goes out and impresses you. It is but another name for energy. How you tap your energy, how you manifest your energy, that will decide how your personality develops. I continue Swamiji's quote. As I have already remarked, the personality of the man is 2/3, and his intellect, his words are but 1/3. It is the real man, the personality of the man, that runs through us. Our actions are but effects. Actions must come when the man is there. The effect is bound to follow the cause. The ideal of all education, all training should be this man-making. But instead of that, we are always trying to polish up the outside. What use in polishing up the outside when there is no inside? The end and aim of all training is to make the man grow. The man who influences, who throws his magic, as it were, upon his fellow beings, is a dynamo of power. And when that man is ready, he can do anything and everything he likes. That personality put upon anything will make it work. Unquote. Very clearly, Swamiji says, if you want to develop your personality, if you want to build your life, you have to learn how your inner forces are working. No point in polishing the outside. Take care of the inside. What is happening within me? How are the forces within me functioning? How do I control them? How do I tap the deeper forces within me? How do I direct them properly? When we do that and interact with the world outside, he becomes a dynamo of power. And when he is ready, he can do anything and everything he likes. That personality put upon anything will make it work. This is the inside way out. I tap my inner resources and energies, and then I work in the world outside. It will be a master working in the world outside. When we function from the body, nervous, and even mental level, it is always a struggle. There will be success, there will be failure. And the impression is also not very deep. And when it is done, it is not long lasting. So, teaching a man to discover and function using his deeper energies and build a strong personality, that is the true goal of education. And Swamiji calls it man making education, to manifest physical power, mental power, spiritual power. Man making education, repeatedly, Swamiji says. This is the idea behind that. Tap all the dimensions of your personality, go to the deepest level, and then function from that level. There is infinite power manifesting outside. Remember that quote of Swamiji? My motto indeed can be put into a few words, and that is to preach unto mankind their divinity and how to manifest it in every movement of life. In every movement, I have to manifest my divinity. Divinity is this Atma Shakti, Chit-shakti. In every movement, that energy will be manifested. That is a true man. Last class, we discussed our inner life purpose and outer life purpose. Inner life purpose, in one sentence, we took it as self-discovery, self-realization. Who am I? Outer life purpose, through any kind of work, whatever work that we choose to do, the purpose is to serve and see how my work can improve their lives, can contribute to their lives. Every work can be seen in that light. So these are the two dimensions of the life's purpose, inner and outer. And the essence only we discussed. And there are steps to discover that. Now, once we have fixed our life purpose, both internal and external, the next important step is to conserve our energies, physical and mental, and use them to achieve our life purpose. I have chosen my goal, life goals. It may be becoming an IAS officer, serving the society, or it may be becoming a dancer, or it may be becoming a teacher, becoming a doctor, an engineer. Anything it can be. I will be earning my livelihood, but more importantly, my main purpose is to serve. Last class, I gave the example of a doctor, two doctors in a town. The first doctor who earned money and who was happy to do his business, he was efficient. Second doctor, efficient, but he said, I don't want these fellow human beings to suffer from this malaria. So he took steps, gave advice how to prevent it, then went to corporation, then worked out some steps to stop malaria, and last he created self-help groups. That is the extra contribution. So that is the outer life purpose. Now, if we have discovered, worked out through what work I will be achieve goal, then next step is this: conserve your energies. Conserve your energy means find out where your energies are leaking and plug those holes. Without knowing, sometimes even serious people with very good intentions who have worked out their life purpose, they find they don't have the energy to go forward. That is because they are wasting so many ways. That has to be plugged. Now, some practical tips. The first practical tip I will introduce after again quoting at length Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji says, "The chaste brain has tremendous energy and gigantic willpower. The yogis claim that of all the energies that are in the human body, the highest is what they call ojas. Now, this ojas is stored up in the brain. And the more ojas is in a man's head, the more powerful he is, and may speak beautifully powerful. That is the power of ojas, which is expressed as sex energy in sexual thought. Therefore, we must learn to control the grand powers that are already in our first tip for managing our life energy. It never stigmatizes sex or lust. It only tells it should not be against dharma. It should not be against dharma. If you are a student, your dharma is to acquire knowledge. And to acquire knowledge, some students sometimes tell me, if you see in the West, they are enjoying and also doing very well. I have a question. If he had stopped frittering away his energies at the physical level, how much more could he have done? It is a science. It is a science of the human, in the depths of the human body, how things are working. Biology and psychology, they understand in one level. The yogis go deeper and they say this has an impact on how your mind and brain functions. Conserve. So we have the 4 ashramas. Brahmacharya ashrama is the stage where the boy or girl conserves all the energies without frittering them away and uses those energies, physical, mental, spiritual energies, to acquire knowledge. 2 kinds of knowledge, paravidya, aparavidya. Paravidya is knowledge about himself, higher knowledge, knowledge of the unmanifest, that is consciousness. And aparavidya is knowledge of this manifest universe. Whatever is there to be known and understood about the universe, I will learn that. So education will be complete only when I have vidya, 2 vidyas, para, apara, knowledge of the inner world, knowledge of the outer world. And to achieve this, I need energy. They knew this. So he will live in a Gurukula until he finishes his studies. He directs them to achieving this excellence in his studies. And when he has finished it, the Guru says, "You are now ready. You have done your studies." He goes into the Grihastha ashrama. He will be a good Grihastha. If everything is spent and wasted, the student, if he has finished his energies at the physical level, even before entering into the Grihastha ashrama, how can he be a good Grihastha? Even as a Grihastha, he will fail. Now, in Grihastha ashrama, he is told, enjoy whatever you want to enjoy through your senses in dharma. There again, it is not a free animal life. Enjoy it through dharma. He has enjoyed until 50 or so. Now we have a retirement age 60. People think until 60 we can enjoy. There are other ideas. They say when your hair grows white, now it won't work nowadays because 2023 their hair grows white. Olden days they didn't have so many worries probably. They say when you see your children grow up and ready to take up your responsibilities, hand it over to them, partially withdraw from your engagements, social engagements. Practice self-restraint again. It will be easy for him because he has done it earlier in the Brahmacharya ashrama as a student. Brahmacharya ashrama is the student life. It is the student's life. While acquiring that knowledge, he had practiced self-restraint. Now he enjoyed life in all its forms as a grihastha. Now as a vanaprasthi ashrama, he is again getting back into that mode of self-restraint. Why? Outer life purpose I have achieved. Now I focus again on my inner life purpose. And when he says full-heartedly, wholeheartedly, with all my time and energy, I will be discovering only this inner life purpose, he takes the sannyasa. This was the traditional way in which our ancestors had worked out for people to evolve. That has been lost. Naturally, as time progresses, there will be some changes. But in the Brahmacharya ashrama, if someone says, I want to enjoy life now, then everything is lost. Because we will only be left with program coders, no discoveries. 130 crore people. And discoveries, when compared to small nations, you see it is so nil. Why energies are frittered away. You go and ask Google, who is watching what, which country is watching what. You will have very disturbing results coming out. So this society, which had this knowledge, has lost it. And there are people who think they are doing a great service to our country by claiming it is freedom of life, freedom of speech, freedom of action. I will see and do what I want. You may do that, but it will become at a terrible cost for you and for our society. So the first step in managing my energy, life energy, is to practice self-restraint. Practice self-restraint. Avoid anything which will tempt me to go into those paths. Swamiji says, whatever makes you weak, do not touch it with the little finger of your feet. Don't even touch it. Mind will give excuses. He says, be careful. Every scripture, it tells us the same thing. Scriptures are not just for people who want to realize God. Scriptures tell us how to lead a very powerful, fruitful life. The kind of personality Swamiji says we should have. The kind of man-making Swamiji wanted. The scripture's ultimate purpose is discover yourself. But in that process, you will also be manifesting power in your interaction with the world. What a society it will be with men and women having that kind of restraint and manifesting their ojas in whatever they speak, whatever they do. That will be a powerful country, a powerful and peaceful and harmonious society. There can be no compromise on this. That is the first one. I call it a tip, but it is what every wise man in any country, society will give. But this doesn't mean we have to wage a war or hate as some cultures do. It is a sin. It is not sin. It is not a sin. Only when it is adharma, going against your dharma as a student, and you are married, you have a dharma towards your wife, a dharma towards your husband. You are a pativrata dharma, and you have the ideal of Rama. When you go against that, it becomes sin. Once, Swami Turyananji, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, when he was a youth, Hari Maharaj, Hari he was called, Hari Prasanna, Hari, he asked Sri Ramakrishna, how to kill lust? It is troubling me. Sri Ramakrishna says, how foolish. How can you kill lust? It is energy. Can you kill energy? You cannot kill energy. So what to do? He simply gave one word, mode thou, redirect it. That is the way. That energy which is trying to express itself, manifest itself at the physical level, give it a higher direction. How to do? Every youth has this problem. How to do? Another young disciple asked, Yogin. Sri Ramakrishna told, repeat the name of God. Yogin was not convinced. He says Sri Ramakrishna doesn't know some techniques. So this everyone he tells what is there. And there was a Hatha Yogi in Panchavati, Dakshineshwar temple garden. He went to him. But Sri Ramakrishna convinced him and told, these exercises will not help you. Take the name of Lord with faith and you will see the result. Yogin did that and he says, I discovered it was true. Another disciple, Adbhutananda, Latu he was called, a shepherd boy. When he asked the same thing, how do I control my mind from these lustful thoughts? He says, whenever it comes, think of me. Because of his Shraddha in Sri Ramakrishna, that is, Sri Ramakrishna is the east for him, which we discussed 2 classes earlier. Immediately, the energy is given a higher direction. So this, we will have to work out for ourselves. What will be my east? I have to just redirect that energy. And once I make it a practice, it will become easier next time when there is any temptation or cause for going out of the way, out of dharma. Second tip, stop worrying about your future or worrying about some past mistake and refuse to become angry. Worrying about my future or worrying about some past mistakes that I have done or that happened to me, it's a big drain on our energy. Physical, mental. Physical, nervous, mental energies are drained when you start working. In Kannada, there is a saying, Chinte chitege dari. Worry is the path for your cremation. It finally burns you up from inside. More anxiety about future will also give you, as some students have experienced it, it gives you gastric problems and so many other problems. Doctors also now recognize it. There are so many illnesses. They say this is nothing physical, it is psychosomatic. It is coming from the mind. Because of disturbances, worry about what is happening in my family, worry because a relationship is not going well. Finally, it harms me and my energies take a negative turn. It becomes one of jealousy, anger, irritation, hatred, fear. When these emotions dominate, the energy is negative. And that negative energy is just killing me. Same thing with anger. Whenever I become angry, remember that Epictetus idea I told you. He says, when you become angry with someone, you are just giving your mind to that person and telling him, disturb my mind. Why should someone control my mind? So some small points like this, if we keep in mind, we will immediately at least quickly recover from that condition of anger, overwhelming my mind and body. When you get angry, when you're fully lustful, when you're fully filled with fear, you can see how the body is affected, not just the mind. The whole system is affected and energy is drained out. So you hold the negative energy and suck away our energy, positive energy. You have to be considerate, you have to think about their well-being, but you don't have to. I want this combination of immense idealism with immense practicality. We have to be practical. We cannot inner and outer life purpose. I have to work out my life purpose. This much I can help you. Next, I can only pray for you. It also means we have to, or if they're not here, maybe through their work. Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1911, he gives a dynamic definition of prayer and the unknown. He writes, this is the doctor. Prayer is the most powerful form of energy one could generate. Prayer, like radio, self-generating energy. When we pray, we link ourselves with the inexhaustible motive power. That cannot be a prayer because it is selfish. You may say, what is selfish? I have paid for the lottery ticket. But that 1 crore is the money of all those people who purchased the other lottery tickets. And most of them are poor people. So it is their heartburn which will be coming to you as 1 crore. My life purpose, inner and outer life purpose. And second kind of prayer is praying for others. Bahujana hitaya, bahujana sukhaya. So in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, any number of times he says, pray to God. Ant itself is so small and its feet is even smaller. And there are anklets on that small tiny feet of the ant. And the sound of those anklets, God listens. So that is to say, God listens to prayer. Why? How can he listen? Because he is inside me. That is my highest nature. So when learned, you have to learn the power of prayer. It will manifest the deepest sources of energy inside. It will transform you and it will transform the other person. We can pray for others. We quoted 2 classes earlier. Swami says, distance does not matter. You can think and pray for others. So these are some ideas I just wanted to present how to manage our life energy. Make sure your ideals are very clear, your life purpose is clear, then work out how you will use your energy, physical, mental powers. Tap the spiritual powers. Avoid getting lost in negative ways, negative thinking, negative feelings. There is an interesting thing. Once, anecdote, Mahatma Gandhi was in the Yerwada jail, and he was walking up and down, pacing up and down. So his secretary, I think Paralalji, he was also in the jail. And he and others told, Bapu, at least in jail you sit silently. Why are you walking so much? And then he makes one very important point, because he was experimenting a lot on brahmacharya. He says, you're not understanding. Every day, nature gives us an amount of energy. And if I sleep without using that energy up, it will be bad for my brahmacharya. When I was outside, I would interact with people and I would spend my energies. Oh, why don't you spend it in meditation? How long will you meditate? So there is a capacity for each one. So he says, through walking, I am expending that energy. I don't want to go to sleep without spending that energy. There is another way of seeing it also. How much food I take and what food I take also matters, because food has a strong influence on the mind. The subtle aspect of food becomes the mind. This anyone can experiment. It is not something you have to believe, only you will have to do it in a systematic way. How food affects the mind, you can easily understand. So take care of your food, take care of how much food you eat. If you eat more than what you need, more than what you are spending, it will become laziness, kind of dullness of the mind and body. If you take less, again that energy will not be there. So I have to balance my food, balance my activities, and then work towards my goal, my life purpose. So there is this idea, I have energy, I have to know how I am using it. Physical energy. Be conscious of how you are using your energy. Mental. Just be aware. What thoughts are flowing through your mind? Every thought is spending some energy. What feelings are arising in your mind? If it is a positive feeling, one of prayer, one of goodwill, one of love, one of sacrifice, it just replenishes your energy. If it is negative, anything which cuts you off from fellow beings, from nature, anything which is selfish, it drains away energy. So just one kind of awareness, if we can maintain, then we will see there will be progress in our life towards our life purpose. I presented the points. You please think on it, reflect. Just this much you do. See how you are using your energies. Is it all going away at physical? Or is it going on the mental level in daydreaming, worrying? Or is it being used constructively? Reflect on that. From this class, take this point and try to discover your innermost power, energy, that is the spiritual energy. Just reflect how you are using your energy now after this class. Physically, you will find this. Some people will be sitting and their legs will be dancing. Legs will be shaking. What is happening? It is not dancing by itself. The restlessness of the mind is making the legs shake. Stop that. Here we keep telling some of our young brahmacharis, when you are washing the plate, water is flowing like Ganga, full force. So if you are wasting energy outside, then you will be wasting your inner energies also, because it is one mind. That mind cannot waste energy outside and conserve inside. The conservation of energy is both outside and inside. They say conserve energy, switch off the light, switch off fan. Yes, very good, do that. Also think of how you are conserving your energies inside. Just see how you are wasting it, if you are, how it's going out through unnecessary actions, useless talk, or excessive sleep also is a drain on energy, then thinking and feelings. And everywhere, just give the alternative to that, a positive one. Reflect on this and let us all pray. We'll be able to tap the deepest sources of our energy and realize our life purpose. Thank you. We meet again next Sunday. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.